Good morning, everybody. Randy Karchner, the musical health coach. How are you doing today? Hope your world is off to a great start. It's Friday. The weekend's coming. It's a great day, of course, to begin with. I wanted to tell you a story today, something that's been on my heart and my mind. Years ago, back in the 30s and 40s, excuse me, I got a little bit of a cough this morning. There was a man who had 4 beautiful children, 3 daughters and a son. And he was a very hard worker. He worked for the Arizona Fish and Game Department, was known as one of their best big machinery operators. And his family was very proud of him. But he had a terrible habit. After a hard work day, he would drink before he went home to his family. That, of course, led to treating his wife with disrespect. And, of course, after a while, bless her heart, she couldn't handle it anymore and she divorced him. And so, fast forward years later, his only son was quite the football and basketball star in high school, and he graduated and was started to drive a truck for some extra money. And one day he was driving, one of his friends was in the truck with him, and I hope I'm telling the story correctly. A lady was trying to pass him on the highway, and he moved over just a little bit too far, and the truck went off the road, and both he and his friend were killed. Trying really hard not to get emotional, and really hurt this man that his son died. Now, a lot of people would have taken that, already being an alcoholic, and he would have, could have easily gotten more into drinking and just totally taken his life completely down the tanks already, where it was already headed. He chose to make a change. I know it was hard for him. He completely acknowledged a higher power and turned his life completely around. Ended up going on a church mission and becoming an amazing public speaker. That person was my grandfather, my mom's dad. And he left a legacy because he chose to make a difference and change his life around. It wasn't just about him, it was about his family and about getting his honor back and making a difference. I'm reading, been reading this wonderful book, actually for the second time, called Today I Begin a New Life by Dave Blanchard, one of my mentors. I love that book. And Dave talks about taking the negative things that have happened to you in your life and putting them in your heart. See, we're all kind of carrying around a sack of all the things we've experienced, the bad things we've gone through, stuff that hurt us, all those kinds of things. And Dave teaches us to take those, to empty out that sack, take all those things and put them in our heart and be able to make a difference in somebody else's life, to use it as something positive to help somebody else. That's what my grandfather chose to do. And I'm proud of him. And he left a legacy rather than something completely the opposite that could have happened. And he's revered for that. And I always appreciate his wonderful example. Now, in life, to get to a few musical examples, and I hope I'm going to make sense with this. And by the way, this is not a left-handed piano. It may be looking like that to you. This is my right hand playing over here, okay? Somebody said that last week on the post that I did, so I wanted to clarify that. Things happen to us in our lives. In music, there are certain types of chordal progressions or certain types of musical intervals that inhibit's the wrong word, that evoke tension, something scary, and people have harnessed that to make a lot of money. I believe it was Marius Constant who wrote the Twilight Zone theme, which utilizes some of those kinds of intervals. And it sounds like this. We hear this. Actually, it's up an octave. Right? When we hear that, immediately it's like tension. It's like if any of you were a Twilight Zone fan, like I was, my dad always would ask me, why do you like that stuff? I just love the music and all the tension and all that kind of stuff. But certain kinds of musical things can evoke certain types of feelings. And that's obviously could be scary or mysterious or bizarre, however you want to think of it. my grandfather's life was kind of like this for a long time. And how many of us feel this way? If you hear this interval, it's not necessarily pretty. Right? Does that sound pretty to you? It's not pretty. You know, if you invert it, it's like this. It sounds like that. It was the Twilight Zone thing, you know. You see the same kind of thing like that. Using that and turning it upside down. Anyway, I'm geeking out on you. So his life was like this. But he chose to change it around. Let me show you how you can take that interval. And because we all feel like that interval sometimes. We're just having a crappy day, you know, and it's just like, and things just aren't going great. Okay? But we can turn that around. You can take something that sounds or looks like that. Now tell me how it sounds like this. Okay, now you see where I used it? I'll show you again. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is again. Again. I'm doing it on purpose, obviously, to show you that it can be beautiful, right? Okay, see my point here? That you can take something that doesn't sound or feel right because you've had a bad day or whatever. You can take this and you can make it this. That is one of the most beautiful voicings with a string orchestra. Just even like this is beautiful. It's the same thing, only I've inverted it. So we can take something that feels or sounds like this, and we can create something so beautiful with that. If we choose to take that negative stuff, put it in our heart like Dave Blanchard teaches us, and then use it to help somebody else. Because we've been there. People need to know that you care. And part of caring is sharing things that have happened to you that they can relate to, so they know they're not alone. Because when you're in a terrible situation, the first thing we feel like is that, why does this always happen to me? Like there's nobody else out there but us that this has happened to. Like nobody else has ever been through it before, you know what I'm saying? So we have the opportunity to use that negative stuff and help somebody else. That's what I love doing as a health coach. I love helping people to create something that they tell me they want to do. They've been through stuff that made some choices in their life that have led to maybe not being healthy, but there's a lot of different kinds of unhealth, right? It's not just what you see. There's a lot of unhealthy minds, unhealthy finances. People are really struggling. As a certified coach, I love to be able to help people to create something beautiful out of what they've been through, to learn from what they've been through, apply it to now, and help them be able to change their life around. Like somebody did for me years ago. I'm always so grateful. I've been a coach now for 10 years, and it changed my life. Big part of life is about learning something and sharing it with somebody else. I hope you have a great weekend. It's nice and still a little bit cold and rainy here in Franklin, Tennessee, but the weather's supposed to clear up for us. So I hope your weather is clearing up in your life, and have a great weekend. Randy Karchner, the Musical Health Coach. Goodbye.